But as conservatives are adamant about biblical marriage and family, especially Christians, the left, they're obsessed about promoting homosexuality and transgenderism because biblical morality is from God. And to them, it's oppressive, and it's not inclusive, as they would say, of all the sexual perversion that they want to see across the country. Homosexual marriage, by the way, is not just who you marry, who you love. You often hear that. Everyone should be able to marry who they love. You see, again, code words, deceitful phrases to make people say, yeah, you know what? You should be able to marry who you love. That's true. Marriage is about love, and you should be able to marry who you love. What they're not saying is the ramifications of where that leads. Children are harmed by not having a biblical coupling, one man, one woman. It's taught in the schools as being normative, and so they get involved in it. And those who resist it and push back against it, what happens to them? They're punished. So it's not just about, it's not going to affect your marriage. That's a lie. And so the other part of this whole thing is child rearing. Not only is it marriage, this redefining of God's institution of marriage, but it's also a redefining of child rearing. Ephesians 6:4 says, "Fathers, do not provoke your children to anger, but bring them up in the discipline and instruction of the Lord." So this means that parents, fathers specifically, are to correct negative behavior, discipline, and teach positive behavior, biblical instruction. And because much of the country now doesn't acknowledge God, they don't see things like what the Bible says about disciplining children, even corporal punishment of children, spanking children. They see that as what? What do they call it? Child abuse. But the Bible says we are to discipline our children, not abuse them, not hit them, but spank them when they deserve to be spanked. There's other forms of discipline as well, lesser forms of discipline, but it's up to and including that. And that's what our humanistic society resists. And when you refuse or redefine what it means to discipline your child, you're going to have children who grew up to be rebels. That's just the way it is. Again, God's principles, his points in his word are non-optional. When we don't, they're not suggestions, they're commands to be followed. And when we don't follow them, there are negative consequences.